Just a quick video. I've just got out of bed and dressed and showered, so I just wanted to drop a hint about a drop. I was thinking, I want to drop a hint about a hint that was dropped several decades ago. It's in the film that I watched 2 days ago, called Futureworld. So I watched this on Monday for the first time in my life, noticing it. It's apparently, I think it's a sequel to the film Westworld, the original Westworld. I'm not sure if there's a remake of the Westworld, but there might be. I know there's a series. I've just seen that there is a series. But this is, I think, a sequel to the film Westworld, and it does actually feature a cameo from Yul Brynner, who starred in the original Westworld, which I think was 1973, so 3 years earlier. So the hint I'm going to drop is it's a scene in this movie, and it's pause a second. Right, I've just checked. There is a scene in this movie at 1 hour 13 minutes. The film is available to watch on Dailymotion, and I will provide the link. We'll provide the link for the movie in this video in the description box. And it's at 1:13. So if you skip to 1:13, by all means watch the film. It's not the worst film ever. But this is one of the films that I've noticed a lot of material. This is just one particular scene that I actually overlooked it and thought about it just as I was getting out of bed today, just before I got out of bed, and realised that there was symbolism in this particular scene at 1:13. So I'll just describe what's happening. There's in this scene, there's a guy playing cards at a table. He's a maintenance guy of some type for this theme park that's called Futureworld. And he's playing cards with some kind of robot that he's kind of rescued from the junkyard, and he now uses it as his pal, his little buddy that he has do things for him, like make drinks and cups of teas and coffee and stuff like that. So he's playing cards with this robot who's intelligent enough to play cards. Apparently he's a Series 400, whatever that means. I think they have separate levels of robots which have different kind of duties, and this is one of the lower robots, the lower robot types. And anyway, he's playing cards with him, and someone comes into the room and tries to ask for their help. So they have to pull themselves away from the card game. So as the robot still sat down at the table, and as this guy gets up from the table and then walks away with this other guy who needs his help, they walk out the room. But before he walks out the room, he turns around and addresses the robot, points towards the robot, and says, "Don't you cheat! Don't you cheat now with them cards?" Because he's left his cards. He's left his hand of cards on the table. So I presume their intention was to resume once he'd left, and he expects his buddy robot to just sit there and not motionless and just wait for his return to the table so they can resume with the card game. So the guy leaves the room, and the camera then focuses on the robot. And it's kind of predictable. You expected it would pan out like this, and then it's like it focuses on the robot, and then the robot kind of reaches forward, picks up the top card or some of the cards of the hand that this guy's left on the table, face down, and he's tipped them upwards to have a look. So the robot's had the sneak of his cards. But what's really going on there? If you don't, in the normal context of the film, you think, oh, that's funny, yeah, that's just a humorous scene. Well, it's more than just a humorous scene. With a lot of Hollywood movies, there's a movie running parallel alongside the movie. So there's an agenda, should I say, running alongside, or it can be several of it. There can be multiple agendas running alongside the actual main movie, the main theme of the movie, the main story of the movie. And if you're able to notice these, it's quite eye-opening. But it's like my research. A lot of people can't see the stuff I'm seeing with my research when I show them examples of what I'm seeing in the landscapes and the cave systems, etc. So I think there's only some people, I'm not saying it's special in any way, but there's only some people who have an eye for this kind of thing, and I just tend to notice things, and it's no different in film. I've pointed something at someone and they say, "Oh yeah, I didn't see that. I didn't see it that way." But now I'm getting pretty good at it, and I think it's pissing some people off, according to what's been happening in the last couple of days, and the launching of my new channel, A Hijacked Mind. But that I digress. So this particular scene in this film, Futureworld 1976, where they're playing cards at 1 hour 13 minutes. I think the scene lasts for a couple of minutes. The whole idea of the cards is they're dropping a hint, and I'm not gonna actually, I believe people are intelligent enough to figure it out for themselves. But if I just drop the hint and then watch the scene, and then try and understand what's going on with the dynamics of that scene, and they're telling you something. They're telling you something when that guy leaves the room and the camera focuses on the robot. They're telling you something. They're dropping a hint. So I won't actually insult anybody's intelligence. I will presume that now I've dropped the hint that people will be able to see what I'm referring to. Unfortunately, I'd really love to show. I'd really love to show clips and segments from the film, but I've been doing a bit of research on copyright infringement, and it's very vague in a grey area, and I'm not comfortable uploading stuff, so I've had to delete a couple of videos where I did include segments, and I just don't feel as though I know enough about copyright infringement and how it works, because a lot of people don't seem to know. Some tell you one thing, and then someone else contradicts what that person says. A lot of people say you can't use, if it belongs to someone else, you can't use it, and I think that's the safest thing to do is go off that. And I'd advise anybody to do that who's thinking of or considering using other people's material and film clips. I mean, I've seen a lot of channels who just seem to get away with it and just show shitloads of footage from films. I don't know how they do it, whether they get the permission to do this. But yeah, I'm not comfortable showing it until I'm better equipped with more knowledge about copyright infringement. I'd rather just err on the side of caution and just not use anything. So I've deleted a couple of videos where I've kind of claimed fair use. I've done everything I possibly can to make the video, to distort the video from its original context of how it's normally viewed. So I mirrored the picture. I sepia. I added sepia tone. I blurred, but I'm just reading a lot of stuff that kind of doesn't make me feel that much comfortable with using other people's footage from films and stuff, films, etc., and TV. Maybe some point in the future someone can actually give a definitive kind of explanation as whether it is okay to use. A lot of people say contact a solicitor who's an expert in this field, but how many people do I know who's an expert in copyright infringement as a solicitor? So just dropping the hint that was dropped, 1976. This is just one. There's loads of stuff in this film. I also want to mention I was watching Escape to New York. I will check if it's available to view on Dailymotion. There are videos available to view on YouTube. I think Escape to New York is available to view I'm not sure it's available on Daily Motion. Your best bet would be Daily Motion. Right, so both these films are available to view on Daily Motion. Escape from New York 1981, Daily Motion, and Futureworld, both are viewable on Daily Motion. So again, Escape from New York, I can't show the clips myself, but I'm just going to describe. In fact, I would just say, if you've never seen the film before, watch the film and then you can get an idea of what I'm talking about with regards to the foreshadowing of future events in Hollywood. And just give the film a chance if you're not that keen on it from the start. It's not a bad film. I've only seen like the opening half hour of the film myself. I've never seen the film before myself, so it stars Kurt Russell, directed by John Carpenter, one of my favourite directors. But give the film an opportunity. But right from the start, there's a lot of symbolism that might just pass over your head without you really noticing it. But you can't miss the foreshadowing parts where right. I think in the opening 5 minutes there's a hint dropped, and then you just need to be patient and wait for that to kind of unravel as the film progresses, and then it becomes overtly predictive, or just a knowing of what's going on in the future. You can't argue it. It's right there before your eyes on Escape from New York. They're telling you what they know about what's happening in the future. I'm not gonna theorize how that could possibly be. I don't know. There must be several ways they're doing that. I know there's a device called the chronovisor, and that apparently the Vatican have possession of this. But if there's more than one chronovisor, then you would bet your bottom dollar that Hollywood themselves would have that, and that would make a lot of sense when you see a lot of the material that's coming out of Hollywood. Some of these fantastic movies, the way films progressed over the years. It seems that somewhere along the line, in our history, in our recent history, or in other words, the last 200 years, someone's come across something, a lot of technology. I don't buy into this idea that we suddenly became super intelligent and then started forming all these industries from out of nowhere, and then we're up in space before you know it. There's something else going on, and I think it's about something that's been discovered. We discovered, whether that's in space, somewhere in space, or somewhere on this planet where something's been preserved and we've discovered it, and it's just opened up a whole new world for us in terms of technological advancement. But yeah, there's a device called the chronovisor. There could be other means of them doing this. I don't know. It could be anything. Something as ridiculous. I mean, it's not that ridiculous, but it's something as absurd as, I don't use the word absurd, but other people probably would. Absurd as contact with extraterrestrials, and then it might just be something to do with space itself. I don't know how they find out all this stuff. So, but they obviously know, and if you look into the Illuminati cards, they themselves also predict what's going on in the future, including Donald Trump as becoming president. We'll check out the Simpsons episode if you've not already seen all this stuff. There's a whole shitload of stuff, and I never knew about the Escape from New York insightful scenes. I didn't know anything about that. I didn't know there was any kind of hints dropped about what was going on in the future. So, in this particular movie, and I might actually just do a bit of research on that and see if it's quite a well-known thing that there is that kind of imagery from Escape from New York, because I've never come across that before. Been targeted multiple times. Pretty much for the last 10 minutes, I've been targeted persistently to the heart, like single pulse attacks every 10-15 seconds. as I film this. They're not going to deter me from doing what I'm doing. I'm going to get all my evidence out. They're going to have to kill me if they're going to stop. If they want to stop me, they killed my cousin. I won't put it past them. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, my new channel is a Hijacked Mind. I'll be putting my evidence out for certain, what I can put out, and I'll certainly make videos dropping hints about what's going on in certain movies that I come across. And I'll show you my DVD collection. I'll be going through all these movies with a fine-tooth comb. I'm looking for the similar kind of content that's in Escape from New York. There's well over 200 DVDs there. They're all most of them are movies, not all of them. But I'll be looking for similar stuff. Now I'm equipped with the ability to see stuff in films. This knowledge I kind of acquired, a certain way of looking at films I acquired when I went to college on my graphic design course. We had our history teacher who kind of not taught us, but he told us that there's other stuff going on in films, and if you can, it's kind of almost like training us to see films in a different way, to see film in a different way. And I came back from that college with looking at films in exactly the same way he was telling us to look at them, dissect them, and there's more to a film than just what you see with the eyes. You can lazily sit back and just watch a film and laugh your way through a comedy, but in that comedy there could be lots of stuff going on besides the humour that you might not necessarily notice because you think it's just a nice friendly comedy film from Hollywood. But there's much more going on, and it's in most films. It's like a magician who's using sleight of hand so that you don't see what he's really doing with his hand. You just see the trick, but there's stuff going on with his hand and you're not noticing it. That's what these people are doing. They're magicians. They're magicians with imagery and trickery. So 2 movies there: Futureworld 1976, Escape to New York, Daily Motion. 1981, Escape to New York, Daily Motion. They're both viewable on Daily Motion.